Hello and welcome to Kerf Screencast number 3. In this screencast I'm going to be showing you a few CSV and text tricks, and the file that I'm going to be using to show you these things is a CSV file of questionable or unknown provenance. I got it online. The reason I went searching for it is because I have a connection to Bloomberg's bpipe service, and they have certain symbols that I can access and certain ones that I can't, and I need to distinguish them by a reference ID. You'll see what I'm talking about. So to start, we'll load our Kerf process, and then I'm going to cheat a bit, and I'm going to call out to my system shell and use wget to download the CSV file. You can see that I've put the CSV file on bit.ly, so you can go ahead and grab it too. You can run the same thing from your terminal and do what I'm doing. Once I have that bbg-sims file, I'm going to use read table from CSV, and I'm going to indicate the field specifiers here in the second argument. The first field specifier is going to be S for string. The second one is going to be E for enumerated strings, and we don't have to do that, but I'll show you why I'm using that in a minute. And then I'm going to do 10 stars, meaning skip the next 10 fields because we don't need them. And I had counted over, and then after that is the field that we do want, field delayed EID1, and that will specify with an F for floating point value. These EID values are, I forget what they stand for, but there's some kind of Bloomberg thing that indicates what services you have valid subscriptions for. And the one that I need actually is 39500, which is delayed NICE level 1 data. That's the only thing I have access to. So the reason that's relevant here is because now we're going to select from this table that we created where the EID equals the one that I have access to. And it turns out that there are 1,651 symbols that I can subscribe to. This table is nice, but we actually need to get these symbols out into another format so that I can use them in my application. The way that we'll do that is we'll take this M for matches table and we'll access the column directly. I don't know why I named them like this, but those are just the tickers. You can see that this is an enumerated column, even though that's not really necessary, and the enumerated column is denoted with the hash or the octothorpe in front of the regular JSON representation. So we can use this special rep function to get our hands on what the Kerf process normally displays to the terminal. That just gives us access to that special string. That's why the quotes are set off like that, because they're being escaped. And so if we do out R, so out rep S, then that spits everything out to the terminal without putting a limit on it and putting that ellipse at the end, as you see. So if that's all that we wanted, we could really be done here, because I can just scroll up in my terminal and copy the scroll back, carefully avoiding that hash sign in front of it. Actually, if you want to avoid having the hash sign in your representation to begin with, you can drop the first character using one drop rep S, or even drop open parentheses 1 comma rep S close parentheses. So now we have the list of strings in a pretty good format, but for my purposes I'm going to be passing bpipe a list of ticker symbols. I need everything to be followed by US. So the way that we're going to add US equity to all the symbols is we're going to use S equals S-join map left US equity. So what that does is attach that string to the end of all the strings that were in that list. So this is pretty close to what we need. If we convert that S is a Kerf object, but we need it in a string representation. So we can convert it to JSON, and that'll give us essentially what we need. That's a JSON string, or you can use uneval. I put uneval in Kerf because it's very convenient. Now that we have our hands on the string, we can just use write text, and I'll call that file active sims. We'll write the JSON file, and we're done. So actually, write text is pretty nice. You don't have to go through that JSON process that I just did. It'll do it for you. And to verify that we actually got the thing we needed, I'll use lines to read the file that we just wrote. That's it.